Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about a couple different stocks. I got someone commenting on one of the videos saying, hey, can you talk about what stocks you hold? So I'll talk about what I hold, what I recommend, what type of accounts I use for them. I will go through traditional stocks fairly quickly and talk about those, and then I'll talk about crypto-based stocks, crypto type stocks. There's Bitcoin miners, there's these trusts, there's ETFs. So I'll talk about all of that in this video. So let's go. If you're trying to diversify a little bit out of crypto, which I do recommend, you have some assets outside of crypto. Now, I think, something like gold, but then stocks definitely should be a part of your portfolio. Now, I have a big 401k through my employer that I have most of my wealth into, and it's very limited. 401ks are extremely limited, and I kind of regret putting so much money into 401ks. I wish I would have put them into something like a Roth IRA. The priority for investing, if you are working in 95, is if you have an employer match, you do the match with your employer through your 401k first, then you do HSA because it's doubly tax efficient, right? Because at HSA, you get to pay with pre-tax dollars and you never have to pay tax on the gains. So HSA is number 2 priority, then Roth IRA, okay? So that's how you do it. Employer match, HSA, Roth IRA, and then you can go into a regular brokerage account after that. So if you want to just hold a broad range ETF long-term, VOO is a good one. I kind of just asked Grok real quick. I said, hey, what's a good dividend ETF and SCHD and with low expenses? That's important because if you're holding this a very long time, those expenses will eat into your profits and it will just add up over time. So you want a low expense. So SCHD is a good one if you want some dividends. 3.4 to 3.8%. VYM is another one for dividends. Now, dividends, depending on your tax bracket, might be not as good as just holding something like a broad range ETF because dividends will, depending on your tax rate, they get taxed every time they pay dividends. But if you're in a Roth IRA, you can definitely hold a lot of dividends and they can compound over time. You can hold, 50% of your portfolio, let's say 33% of your portfolio in dividends, 33 in like an S&P 500 and 33% in Bitcoin or something like that. Or you can go 50% Bitcoin, however you want to do it, whatever your risk tolerance is and how much you want to diversify, right? So these are good ones. VIG is another one. And then if you're just looking for like a broad range ETF, you can do like VTI, SCHB. IVV is probably the one that I would recommend. IVV or VOO. Okay. So I don't know why it recommended IVV over VOO, but these are pretty much the same, right? So they're both S&P 500. They both have the same expense ratio. And they're both S&P 500, so they have the same dividend yield. The year performance is pretty much the same. You can see here, 1 month, slightly lower on VOO, but the 1 year is slightly higher. So they're very similar, almost identical. So you can do VOO or IVV if you just want to hold like S&P 500 funds. So you can also do like QQQ, which is a little bit more technology based. It has a little bit higher returns, but a little bit higher expenses. SPY, I'd probably just do VOO over SPY because SPY does have more fees. So that's kind of the basics for just the regular non-crypto stocks. Now, I also like to trade crypto stocks and hold them. So I use Fidelity. You can use whoever you want. I do like Fidelity. I've had good experiences with them. And if you want to also like trade a little bit of stocks, I use BTCC. So the only complaint I had about them originally was their mobile app was not very good, but they've improved it actually lately. And it works a lot better. So I do have an affiliate link below for BTCC if you want to try it out. It gives you lower fees and there's some nice newcomer bonuses. And you can trade using USD Tether. So if you have Tether, you can do it this way and you can open trades, or you can just go into a brokerage account like Fidelity and you can buy and sell. So you can also even use margin on Fidelity. But this I can use like kind of higher leverage. Margin and leverage are kind of the same thing. You can see I have a bunch of trades open right now. Ameritrade, I'm up 130%. Coin trade, I'm up 180%. CLSK, I'm up 121%. MicroStrategy, I'm up 100%. Amazon 70, Microsoft 125, gold. I have quite a big gold trade open right now. I think it's like a $15,000 position, $13,000. I'm up 14% already. I just opened an S&P 500 trade. right now. And my stop loss is at, what is my stop loss at? I forget. I got to go over here to open orders. My stop loss is 57.52. So just opened a S&P 500 trade. It looks like it's going to break out. I have some other trades open. Now, I still think it's a good time to get into some of these other Bitcoin mining stocks. Like Mara, for example. I think Mara actually has the biggest Bitcoin holding outside of MicroStrategy. So my stop loss is down here. I got in a lot earlier, so I'm already up a lot, but I still think we have a ways to go. Like if you look at kind of some previous history, when we get into, let me just go to a little bit cleaner chart here so you can kind of see what's happening a little bit easier. But I'll go to like a weekly chart, for example. So you can see if we see any previous performance like we've seen in the past, you could see, you know, at least a 400%. Sorry, not at least. You could easily see a 400%. I will close this trade at like 75 bucks, but if I see it kind of slowing down a little bit, I might close my trade earlier. But a lot of these Bitcoin mining stocks, another one that's kind of interesting that actually just went down today is SMLR. So Semler Scientific. They're actually like a legit company. Plus, they have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So they saw a massive pump out of here, about 250%. So I think right now it's a good time to enter this one. Mara, again, as I said, I think we have a lot to go. It's actually kind of flirting with the bull market support band, which is just some moving averages. Riot's another one that you could definitely get into right now. Cores is another one. This one is a little bit already breaking out, which is good and bad, right? Usually you want to buy into strength, right? But the other ones are a little bit more of a deal right now. CLSK is also flirting with the bull market support band. Hive. I have a big position in GME that I opened down at about 22 bucks. So that was a nice trade already so far. I'm expecting this still to come up a little bit more, but we'll see. I think people were kind of disappointed with the Bitcoin purchase that they did. It was a little bit smaller than people were hoping. CEP is another one that I got into at $27, and it went up like 120%, pulled back, but now it's going back up. So I have a big position on this one on Fidelity, and I have a lot of Hive. Hive is pretty cheap right now, and I'm hoping this one breaks out. Could see, I mean, look at that. That's 1,400%. If we go to the same, you know, place we've seen other places, you know, everyone knows Coinbase. That one's a good one. Now, something else I've been trying for stocks is these trusts. Now, these grayscale trusts are kind of garbage. I'm not going to lie. The altcoin ones, because they don't really relate to the price. I bought the Litecoin one. Let me go to the daily here. I bought the Litecoin one up here. And the price was like, of Litecoin was like, I don't know, $100 or something. And the price is still $100, but this one is down freaking 65%. So I don't know that I would recommend these trusts anymore. I tried a lot of these and I lost a lot of money on these. It's up to you. I mean, they are pretty cheap right now, but they don't really perfectly follow the price action of the coin. It's kind of just who wants to invest in them. And then, you know, Grayscale goes and buys Litecoin and holds it, or, you know, whatever it is. There's Bitcoin Cash, there's XLM, there's ZEC, you know, they have a bunch of these, Link and all these. But I mean, look at this. I bought Link up here at $99 and it's freaking $17, down 83%. Now, I only put a little bit into these, thankfully. I had a big Litecoin position and that kind of sucked because it kind of destroyed my Roth IRA. I'm like down like $2,000-$3,000 on this position. So I would kind of stay away from these, or maybe since they're so defeated right now, maybe it's I just entered at the way wrong time. So I'll leave that one up to you guys. They're highly risky, highly speculative. I think you're probably better off just holding the actual asset instead of these. So I would kind of stay away from these. Everyone knows MSTR. You could probably enter now, but I wouldn't highly recommend entering into MicroStrategy right now. If I go to the Camel Finance indicator, it does say we have a daily low that's forming. So honestly, maybe it's not a terrible time to enter. We do actually have actually both of my indicators are signaling a buy right now. So the only thing that kind of worries me about MicroStrategy is they usually top before Bitcoin does, but maybe that they're also kind of like a a precursor to Bitcoin, right? So when these pump a lot, usually we see Bitcoin pumping a lot right after. You think it'd be the other way, but I mean, this one topped way over here, November 20th. And I think Bitcoin topped, when did Bitcoin top? November 20th. If we go here, daily, when did Bitcoin top? November 20th. Yeah, see, this one topped December 20th. Isn't that interesting? So MicroStrategy actually topped a month before Bitcoin did. And usually when MicroStrategy starts going down, it's like, hey, maybe it's time to get out of my Bitcoin position. So yeah, that's kind of what I do with stocks. Now I'll talk about what I have the most of. I also have a big position in MSTY. I had a huge position on MSTU. I opened it at like $13 and I sold at like 30 or something. I sold almost the top. I sold like 75% of my position. The problem with these leverage funds is they have a lot of decay. So you can see it on MSTY. However, MSTY pays a lot of dividends. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn on if you're better off just holding MSTR instead of MSTY. But you can see right here that this is a good kind of judge of what's going on here. Let me go to the clean version just so you can see it a little bit better. But you can see that MSTY was $45 while Bitcoin was 70,000. Okay. And then MSTY topped again, the daily candle close. There was a little bit of a wick here, but it kind of made a lower high, even though Bitcoin was at 95,000. Now, the dividends are quite high. I think they average about 150 to 190%. So you can make a lot of dividends, but then you're taxed on dividends. So I just think you're almost a little bit better off just holding something like MSTR, or especially because I don't know what's going to happen in the bear market to these guys. I don't know. They trade call options. They hold US government bonds. They hold Bitcoin. So they hold a bunch of different assets to get this yield. But they also trade call options. So I guess if they trade really well in the bear market and have some big shorts, maybe they'll do better than MSTR. But we haven't seen a bear market for these guys yet. These are kind of, all these new leverage funds are kind of new. You can see they all opened in like 2024. So I don't know. I definitely wouldn't like holding these a lot. These are great for trading, right? Like if you even just bought down here at like $3, I mean, there's a quick 170%. So I think if you want to like actively trade, MSTU, MSTX, even MSTR are a little bit better. I don't know that they're that amazing for long-term holds. Even MSTR, I would think, I mean, because here's my comparison right here. Bitcoin 44,000 and then Bitcoin 67,000, and you can see it's down here. So this is the last bull market. And when they go down, Bitcoin declined 83%, 84 really. MicroStrategy almost 90%. So they definitely go down a lot more in the bear market because they're leveraged Bitcoin, right? So that's kind of my thoughts on these. They're a little bit more risky than just holding Bitcoin. You can always just hold something like FBTC if you just want to hold this in a brokerage account or anything like that. I like Fidelity Bitcoin. I think maybe one of them, iShares or something, has a little bit lower fees, but I trust Fidelity. I use them a lot, so the fees are just a tiny bit higher on Fidelity. You can even hold ETH and stuff. I'm still down on my ETH purchase. I purchased a bunch of it back when it at its inception. I purchased a bunch here, and then I purchased a bunch down here. My average cost basis is somewhere around, I don't know, 28, 29 bucks. So still waiting for that one to go back up. But that's kind of my thoughts on different stocks. Now, I have traded single stocks. If you love active trading, I mean, you can do stuff like that. I had a great trade at Ford stock. I bought Ford in COVID at $4 a share. When was that? Yeah, right here. I bought almost the exact bottom. I think I got $4.40 if I'm not mistaken. And it ran up to 24 bucks. I actually didn't close my trade until about 16 bucks, but it was still a 4x. So you can trade stuff like this if you really want, but if you're actively trading crypto, I feel like a lot of people are better off just taking some trades in crypto, making some money, dumping it in an S&P 500 fund or a dividend fund. and just kind of building their wealth that way. It's up to you. You know, because obviously Bitcoin and crypto, they will go down a lot in bear markets. So if you're actively trading and you want to try to sell the top and buy the bottom, I mean, be my guest. That's obviously the most profitable way to do it. Even if you have a bad sell and a bad buy, like for example, let's say even if you sold, I don't know, 25% from the top and bought in, you know, I don't know, 50% from the bottom, you're still up. You know what I mean? So these 4-year cycles have been very repeatable. However, they may not last forever. So I personally like to hold, I don't know, half my Bitcoin, get rid of all my altcoins every 4-year cycle, hold the Bitcoin, get rid of the altcoins, try to make a lot of money in the altcoins, and then you can roll that into stocks and you can roll that into Bitcoin if you want. Hold some for cash for bear markets. I'm still thinking that we're going to get a bear market. Oh, we're on the wrong one. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm still thinking we're going to get another bear market sometime around the end of this year in terms of Bitcoin. And then the altcoins, alt season usually happens right after we see the peak. So I'm expecting the peak to be somewhere around October, you know, plus or minus 30 days, 60 days. But it's been pretty standard, honestly, for all of these cycles so far. So I'm kind of expecting that to continue in some fashion. Now, there is a lot of adoption going on. So maybe these 4-year cycles either end completely or they just get toned down where, you know, instead of going down 90%, maybe we only go down 60% because so many people are still holding the asset. Now, we'll have to see how that all turns out. But that's going to be my opinion on stocks. I talk mostly about crypto, but I do have some stocks open. Again, if you want to open any trades, I have links below to Bitunix and BTCC. If you want to trade tokenized stocks, use BTCC. If you want to trade crypto, I like Bitunix. So I got links below with some huge bonuses and lower fees if you use my link. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Have a great day, everyone, and good luck out there. Wow, 85% long on Bitcoin, 19% short. How do you like that? That's it. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment below. What other stocks do you guys like holding? What did I miss? And I hope you guys have a great day. See you guys.